Hey folks, welcome to John Gillespie's Waters and Woods. Today we're taking a scenic cruise on the Wisconsin River searching for walleyes.
Hey, hey, John Gillespie!
This is phenomenal. Massive Slavosaurus Big Butt Muscalungo. Hey guys, I got an 11 pounder. Look at that thing, man. Oh no. Look at the tummy on that thing too, buddy.
That's a toad.
Yes, folks, truly one of my favorite days of the year, mid-October, doing a float trip down the Wisconsin River with guide Big Dave Ehardt. And Dave, when was the last time you fished with my daughter, Blake?
She was in a stroller, John, and I can't believe how she's grown. It's just really neat to see.
Well, we're going to have fun today because this is kind of a potpourri of fish. I mean, we can catch anything, right, Dave?
Yeah, we should be able to catch bass, hopefully some walleyes and maybe a northern or white bass, a little bit of everything going on right now.
Now, Blake, the Wisconsin River, this section of the river, you know, we're only a few miles from the Dells, but it really is wild and pretty, isn't it?
Oh, it's gorgeous. I'm really excited for today.
Yeah, and you're going to see bluffs and tree changes and I think even some rain, too.
Yeah, probably.
Well, we'll catch something, won't we?
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, folks, so show what we're using and how we're using it. All of that coming up right after this.
There's toys, and more toys in Mills Fleet Farms Toyland. The shelves are fully stocked with toys kids want.
And low prices parents love. Nerf, Barbie, Hot Wheels, and more. Get must-have toys now and take it home today with 6-month special financing on your Fleet Rewards credit card. For the best selection and low prices, get into Toyland. It's open at Mills Fleet Farm.
The future of boating is here. Now, get all the thrilling performance of an Evan Rudy Tech G2 in the new 150, 175, and 200 horsepower.
Bass fishing's fun, but half of these tournaments is like a boat race, trying to beat everybody down the lake. And with that Evan Rudy E-Tech G2, it's like driving a Corvette. That thing is passing everybody.
All the best-in-class torque of the Evan Rudy Tech G2 is now available from 150 to 300 horsepower.
This is a whole nother level. The G2 is awesome.
To learn more, visit evanrude.com.
From the makers of the best-selling Yamaha Grizzly and Kodiak 700 comes the all-new Kodiak 450, the world's only midsize ATV with Yamaha-proven off-road capability, all-day comfort, and confidence-inspired performance. The all-new Kodiak 450, starting at just $59.99.
At Jiffy, we break new ground. In fact, every decision we make revolves around it. The new Jiffy 46 Extreme is 49 cc's of unmatched power with a fixed position propane system and over twice the efficiency for low-end torque. Or go Ninja with the Jiffy 44 Pro, the lightest in its class, the best in power and portability inside and outside. The only ice augers built in the USA. Jiffy, we put the world on ice.
Well, welcome back, folks. Just started fishing here on the Dells, and I got myself a sauger to start
really?
today. I want to show you this, folks.
Oh, that's a nice one, John.
Dave, the colors on these are just incredible, folks. And you can see the black splotches on there and the spots on the fins. And this is a tagged one here, Dave. And you can see the DNR tagged this fish. And if you wanted to keep this one, that's a keeper size, actually, 15 inches. But Dave, do you have any idea why the DNR is tagging these things?
I think they stock some in different places, and if you call that number, and they'll tell you where the fish was released and how old it is and stuff like that. They like to have you take a measurement and let them know what time of year it is. And this one, I don't know. This just has a number on it. But
yeah, it is interesting though, you know. And what is that sauger doing in 5 feet of water?
They're in there chasing the minnows. The water came up and they'll school that bait. Wherever the bait fish are, that's where the fish are. This one was actually tagged down in Poinette, so he made it up here. That's a good sign. When that high water comes up, these fish will come all the way up from down by Lake Wisconsin. So
isn't that a beautiful
fish?
It's
Just gorgeous.
Here we go, Dave, back in the boat again, buddy.
All right, John, you need the net?
No, I don't think so. It's on that Kalen's Jerko. Here he comes.
Oh, another walleye, is it?
Whoa.
Oh, nice walleye, John.
Yeah, that is. There we go. There we go, folks.
Look how white that fish's belly is, John.
How white it is?
Yeah, that's a Lake Wisconsin fish coming up.
You know, that's interesting too, folks. On all the rivers in Wisconsin, everybody thinks about, you know, the walleye runs in the spring. And actually, on the Fox and the Wolf River and here on the Wisconsin, a lot of the males will come up in the fall, won't they, Dave?
And this stretch, a lot of them will come up when we get this water's coming up. We've had a few days of rain, and that triggers the smaller males to come up in end of October, November, and into December, and they'll stay in the deep holes and feed on those schools of bait fish. So we're fighting a little bit of current today, but I'm glad to see it because these walleyes are moving up.
Hey, David, again,
hey,
buddy.
Again on that jerk
Here he
minnow,
comes.
Huh?
We have ourselves a small walleye.
Another walleye.
This is so interesting to
It
me,
is.
though, folks. I am casting right up on that shoreline. That fish was sitting in 2 feet of water, Dave.
Right.
And that's impressive. Little guy there, that's nice to see those. But what I'm using, folks, and if you watch the show, you know that this is one of my favorite baits. But this is a new color that Kalen's is making, Dave. What's it called, Ryan? I think it's called bait fish. Bait fish, yeah. But Dave, that is so intriguing to me that you have walleyes sitting in 2 feet of water on the shoreline.
Yeah, I'm really targeting smallmouth and northerns in this stretch, and you're catching walleyes. I might have to talk you out of one of those jerk baits.
I got plenty, but you know, we were expecting rain all day today, and it looks like that sun is going to peek through. We'll get rain later on, but that sun could help the bass fishing too, right?
Yeah,
Dave?
it should. It should. It'll bring those minnows up to the surface, and we might even see some topwater action.
You were just saying,
John.
You were just saying that shoreline looked fishy, and bingo. You need the Fravel?
Oh, another sauger. Unbelievable.
Yeah. That, folks, I'm amazed. I'm really amazed, Dave, that these walleyes, again.
Yeah, that was a foot away from shore.
Yeah.
And that hit a little Cleo. That's getting to be one of my favorite baits.
Now, show the folks, well, if you can, what a little Cleo is there, buddy.
Yeah, it's a...
That's made by Acme, right?
Yep, and it is just a phenomenal bait. It catches anything. Northerns, bass, even crappies, and a lot of walleyes.
Well, you know, that bait was actually made famous on Lake Michigan.
Yeah, we used to use them for cohos, fishing off the jetties and stuff, and still catching fish.
One of the great things about fishing the Wisconsin River, folks, is working shorelines. And we can virtually work this shoreline for, about a half a mile. And Dave, I think that's one of the neat things, and again, this time of the year, a lot of your bass, walleyes, and even your northerns will be in these eddies close to shore, right?
Absolutely. All they're looking for is a little current break, and then, like I said, the big fish go where the bait fish go, and when there's a real strong current, those bait fish want to get in that calm water, and these predator fish will lay right on the edge of that fast water, and they'll just go into that calm water to feed.
And certain times of the day, you'll actually see the fish working minnows on the surface, right?
Absolutely.
What do you got, another one?
Yeah, that's hitting that little Cleo now. Look at the color of this sauger. Is that beautiful?
Oh my gosh, look at that.
How black that is. Isn't that amazing?
Holy cow, that is black as black can be, Dave.
Oh.
Why is that, man?
He's hanging out in the wood. They're like chameleons. I've never seen one this black before, though. It's so beautiful.
And that's a legal one, too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a legal fish. Little thin, but what beautiful colors. Yeah, they're like chameleons. They'll go up on the sandbar and they'll turn almost pure white. And then if they're hanging out in the rocks or the wood, they get real dark like this, but I've never seen one this dark.
No, that's as black as I've ever seen one, you know? Yes, folks, this is really interesting to me, catching saugers right on the shoreline. Dave, if you're going to target saugers this time of the year, you usually look in the deeper holes, don't you?
Usually saugers like sandy bottom in the deeper holes, but again, these are migratory fish that are probably coming up from Lake Wisconsin, and it's 26 miles downstream from here, so they're probably going where the bait is, and they're just resting in there and feeding, and then they'll keep moving upriver towards the dam and into the deeper holes, and then it's fun. Then you can catch sometimes 50 to 100 fish a day, you know.
And that's when we're doing more vertical jigging?
Yeah, more vertical jigging, or just casting out a three-way rig, or vertical jigging with a three-way rig, but...
Are you guiding again now, by the way, with your back?
I'm going to try and do some half days, but if I can't get you out, I've got a couple of other guides that'll get you out, but...
Well, what I'm happy about, people that have follow our show know that you went through some really serious back problems, and I think you're looking better than you have in years, buddy.
Yeah, last summer was horrible. I never left the house for almost 3 months, but we're back on the right track, John.
So you can do half days?
We're going to try and do a few half days.
In the back of the boat now, Dave.
All right, John, that looks like a nice bend in the rod.
He's kind of decent, I guess. Here he comes, and we have ourselves,
Another sauger.
another
Unbelievable.
sauger. Not a very big fish, but really, as Dave was pointing out before, folks, look at the beautiful, beautiful coloring on these fish. And you don't see them this dark very often, as we said before. And I'm using that, again, that Jerk minnow by Kalen's. And Dave, what you're using is actually another Kalen's bait, right?
Yeah, I'm using a Kalen's grub with a pumpkin color with salt and pepper in it.
Tell the folks how many years you've been using that bait.
I've been using Kalen grubs as long as they've been around.
Seriously?
I mean, if there's one bait to use over the 50, 60 years of fishing that I've done, it's been a jig and a twister tail, and Kalen's the best.
Hey, Dave, it's obviously the bass aren't biting today, but the walleyes are, so now you're going to switch gears?
Yeah, we're going to be right below the rapids here, John, and there's a nice big eddy in here. And when those fish are moving up, a lot of times they'll stop and feed in here. So we're going to switch over to some live bait. And
One thing I want to mention, though, people that don't know this area between the Dells and Portage.
Yeah, it's treacherous. You will lose the lower unit if you haven't been on here before.
Well, that's why I'm surprised you're letting me drive.
Well, the water came up a couple feet, John, so.
Okay, so you're going to put
towards that point. We're just going to work the edge of that eddy. We'll throw it out in the current and work it with a split shot and a hook and a half a nightcrawler, and we should catch fish.
So we can use the talon in the back and a regular anchor in the front.
You bet.
Hey, Dave,
we got a double header.
I don't
Blake's
know if
got
Blake's
one
got
on.
weeds or whatever, but
Well,
I know
she's
you got a fish on.
Oh, nice walleye.
You need the
Well, I got it. I'll
nice
swing
flip
'em up.
in there, David. Blake's got a stick back here. But no, that thing works. And you know, you love those Mustad Gold hooks, don't you?
That's all I use. I use these Mustad Gold Aberdeen hooks. And believe it or not, when we hook it, we don't try and cover that hook up. We hook it right in the tip of that crawler, and that actually attracts those fish. That little bit of flash gets picked up in the stained water. That thing hit it like a ton of rocks, John.
Well, what I like about those Mustads, too, if they do get stuck on the rock,
you just pull them straight back, they straighten out, put your thumb on them, and you're back in business again. There's no retying.
And those are Mustad Aberdeens.
Aberdeens, and we're using number 2s and number 4s.
Dave, how many years you and I have been fishing together?
24 years this year, John.
And the only reason you fish with me is because of the Johnsonvilles, right?
That's part of it.
No, don't eat it yet. I got to tell you what these are, okay? I slow cook these, and you know, you love Johnsonville regular brats. That's what these are, but they're stuffed with Wisconsin cheddar cheese.
Oh, that sounds good.
So they're actually called cheddar brats by Johnsonville.
Fantastic.
And they're absolutely wonderful. Again, I slow cook them on the grill, and you can see the big chunks of cheese in there, you know, when you're cooking them. All right, Johnsonville cheddar brats.
Sounds good. Fantastic.
No, that is good, and I know that you love the regular brats, but with the cheddar in there.
I like them all.
Yeah, sounds good, buddy. And I'm going to send some home for you, too.
That sounds great.
Hey, Blake, these guys smelled our Johnsonville's cooking.
Smell them all the way down the river. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Seriously?
Nothing better than Johnsonville.
Oh, what do you got?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Seriously, you guys smelled us cooking downriver?
All the way down the river.
Well, what do you think?
Right down. I think I'm going to have more tonight when we get back.
Oh, okay. You're my man, running an Evinrude and eating a Johnsonville. We were fishing the Wisconsin River in Wisconsin Dells, a 2-hour drive from Milwaukee, 2.5 hours from Chicago, and 3.5 hours from Minneapolis. Folks, ATV season is right around the corner for both hunters and ice fishermen. Lenny, why should we be using AMSOIL in our ATVs?
The size of these machines is growing. They're heavy, and the motors and the transmissions and the differentials get stressed. So one of the best things you could do is run a good high-quality lubricant. So when you throw those tracks on it, or I'm plowing snow, or you're making it work really hard, you know that you're protected.
So AMSOIL up your machines before the season, and for more information you can go to?
Check out amsoil.com.
The new Acme Rattlemaster has a built-in echo chamber with a brass rattle that calls fish in. The body's solid brass too and won't bend or dull, and reflects fish attracting light all over the water column. This 1-2 punch of sight and sound means you make less casts, because the fish come to you. Rip it or shake it for crappie, walleye, northern salmon, or trout, and experience multi-species action with just one bait.
Hey, Blake's finally going to get on the board here. Now, just steady retrieve, and way to go there, Blake Arini.
You know, if you need the net.
Yeah, just there you go, and you can just.
Oh, another walleye.
There's a walleye. Bring him in, Blake.
That one's close.
There we go. Now
Good
turn
job,
around.
Blake. Excellent.
Finally.
Well, this is her first day in a little chilly weather. How you doing?
Not bad, but ready for a nice walleye.
Yeah,
that's a
not
beauty.
quite legal, but that's a pretty fish. And
Barely on there.
And how did that bite on the crawler?
It nibbled and hit pretty hard.
Yeah, well, that's your first walleye this year. Yay!
job, Blake.
Hey, Blake
All
Rini,
right.
you're
Good
just
job,
sitting here
Blake.
relaxing,
Sitting there with her legs crossed like it's no
there we
big
go.
deal.
There,
a
sheep's
sheephead.
head. Now, okay, lift him in.
Silver bass.
That is not a good fish, Blake.
That's pretty.
Well, it is. Some people think they're pretty, but that's what we call a sheep's head.
Oh.
And they're prevalent in the Wisconsin River and all over Wisconsin. And no, nobody keeps them unless you want to.
No.
Okay. Well, we're back to casting.
Yeah, we had to get out of that wind, John. That was kind of brutal.
Well, I enjoyed my Johnsonvilles, though. Ooh, there we
walleye.
go.
Boy,
Walleye.
oh boy, for bass fishing, we sure are catching a lot of walleyes.
Yeah, we were going back targeting bass. Boy, these walleyes.
They're so beautiful.
Well, they had 4 inches of rain up north last week, and this water came up. Maybe that's what they're doing to the shorelines.
That's what's happening. These are, look how bright white them bellies are, and then they don't just have the white tail. They got white on all 5 fins. So them are little male. Wow, and they're just so clean. They're just beautiful.
Another thing I love about fishing the river in the fall, no matter what direction the wind is, you can find a spot to fish out of the wind.
Yeah, you can usually get out of it.
David.
What's that?
What do
Did we finally get a bass?
Hey, we finally caught a bass, folks. We
Hey.
finally caught a bass, and this is a tiny bass for the Dells area here. But these have been, with that cold front, so inactive today. It's actually nice to see one, and that's kind of what we've been trying for, casting these shorelines, and we're catching mostly walleyes.
Hey, there's one. Doesn't feel like it's huge, but
well,
it's a fish.
Hey, it's one of those days.
Another walleye. I
It's
just cannot
another
believe
walleye.
this.
Oh boy, that's something
Boy,
else.
they must
man.
be moving up here thick. We think it's going to be a good fall, John, because these little ones come up first, and then some of the bigger ones will follow right behind them. But and then at the end of March, then the big females come up. But these, I think, there's going to be a lot of action this fall in the deep holes.
Now that on the Kalen's grub again?
Again on the Kalen grub, that pumpkin.
And you tell the folks you just a steady reel? Why don't you show how fast
Well, I
you reel
throw it out there and I just give it a little pop, let it sink, and pop, and let it sink. And they usually hit it when it's dropping.
Yeah. And that works for every species in here.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. A lot of times they hit it on the drop.
Dave, if
that?
this is another walleye, sure enough, look at that.
Be a son of a gun.
Another walleye.
These are just beautiful fish.
Aren't they gorgeous?
They're about an inch short, but
yeah. But you were talking before off camera how you really like seeing these smaller fish, and overall, how is the walleye population in this stretch of the Wisconsin River this year? Pretty good, Dave?
Yeah, we've had a couple of excellent hatches, and those fish are probably 2.5 years old right there. But the last couple of years we had high water, and the water came up and stayed up. So a lot of times right during that spawning period, the walleyes will lay their eggs up in the grass, and then they drop the water level real fast, and that hasn't happened these last couple of years. So that's a 2-year-old fish, and we've got 2 year classes in a row that should have some tremendous numbers because they had a chance for the eggs to spawn, or the fish to spawn, and the eggs to survive. So I'm looking forward to next spring being one of the best ever.
It's now time to announce this week's winners of the Mills Fleet Farm John Gillespie's Waters and Woods 2017 Fishing Contest.
Michelle Blanchard of Racine is this week's first winner. She caught this 50-inch sturgeon on Pokegama Lake on a minnow. Bob Graham of Milwaukee boated this 44-inch northern on Eagle Lake on a minnow. James Fonslow of New Berlin, Wisconsin caught this 32-inch rainbow trout on Lake Michigan on a crocodile. Steve Newman of Menominee, Wisconsin caught this 19-inch crappie on Bear Lake on a slip bobber. And this week's kids winners are Davis Hoffman of Excelsior, Minnesota, caught this 43-inch muskie on Minnetonka Lake on a top raider. And Quentin Witt of Menominee Falls caught this 36-inch lake trout on Lake Michigan on a spinaglow.
Our adult winners will receive a $25 Mills Fleet Farm gift card, and our kids winners will receive a Plano tackle box. Mills Fleet Farm has everything you need for your fishing and hunting adventures, from snacks to your licenses. Mills Fleet Farm, your outdoor headquarters.
I fish the Great Lakes, the small lakes of northern Wisconsin. What I love about the Recon is the amount of fishing space that I have, the way it gets on plane, the way it rides in big waves. It's just a great all-around boat.
They get up on plane quick, and you don't deal with porpoising like you do in a lot of other boats. These boats run flat.
This boat is so stable. You can have 3 or 4 guys on one side of the boat, man, and it is just perfectly stable.
These boats are designed by fishermen. Big space in the back here where I always fish, and then 2 up fishing in front. A lot of room up there as well.
And the great thing, the Recon is considerably less expensive than other boats in its class. To custom design your own Recon boat, go to reconboats.com.
When it's time to tackle any outdoor-related project or job, your Polar trailer or cart is the perfect teammate.
Polar trailers and carts are designed for easy assembly, and each model is rigorously tested to ensure uncommon durability. On an all-steel tubular frame with a powder coat finish, its body is made of HDPE, which is far superior to its competitors. Polar trailers aren't just for projects around the house or farm. They also work great for hauling deer stands, food plot seed, or the trophy of a lifetime.
Let us make this absolutely clear. The days of wasted casts and missed opportunities are over. New Mega Imaging takes fishing into the megahertz range for the first time, because higher frequency sonar means higher frequency of this. Without a doubt, it's the most detailed picture of the world below ever. And it's only from Humminbird.
David, back of the boat now, back of the boat. Ooh, this feels like a decent walleye, Dave. All right, Blake, be ready with the net. Be ready at the net. Sauger
Put a nice
or
bend in the
walleye. Whoa, here, get in there. Ooh, nice walleye. There we go.
Nice one.
Look
Boy,
at that
John, that
one.
one's got a tag in it too.
Yeah, ooh, that is interesting. We caught a sauger earlier with a tag in it, Dave. And this one also has a tag in it.
That one looks pretty close, John.
Oh, I'll bet you that's 16-incher right there,
I'm gonna get
David.
a fish fry tonight.
Hey, Dave, seriously, though, they must be doing a lot of research on the river here with all these tagged fish, right?
They must be, John, but I think a couple of these fishing clubs are starting to donate some money, because usually this is all natural reproduction, and I've seen the tags from Poinet, I've seen them from Laval. Now that they have all the dams knocked out of the Baraboo River, a lot of those fish are coming up here now too, so it's a healthy fishery. Hey, there's one, John.
Could it be a bass?
Yeah, what do you know, smallmouth.
Well, you and I,
oh, there it goes.
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, there's one on that Kalen grub,
you
John.
need the net, David? You need the net?
I don't know, he's fighting pretty good.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Another nice sauger.
Now that one's a little different colored, isn't it?
Yeah, that one's a little darker, but it's got more white on the belly. But we're just getting them all different colors. They're just such beautiful fish.
You know what, Dave? You know, you don't always catch trophy fish here in the Wisconsin River, but you sure have action, and I think that's what, 6 keepers?
Yeah, I think so, something like that. I'm going to have a good fish fry tonight, I know that.
And the saugers taste just like the walleyes.
Yeah, you can't tell the difference between them in the frying pan.
You and I ought to go up to the Mississippi before the snow flies.
I would like to get some of them saugers and them big jumbo perch.
Yeah, hold that one up again.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not, like I said, there's not a lot of meat on that. The saugers, I think the saugers take about 5 years to get the legal size limit in here, and the walleyes only take 3, so. But once they get over 16, 17 inches, then they get fat.
Folks, remember to follow all of our fishing adventures on Facebook. Dad, what are we giving away this week?
Blake, this week we're giving away a really cool prize, this cool package from Kalen's.
To enter to win this prize is simple. Just go to facebook.com/Gillespie Fishing.
Big Dave Ehardt guides the Wisconsin River on a daily basis. For more information, call Big Dave at 414-803-7160, 414-803-7160. Hey folks, this Stingray cutting tool is the most convenient and sharpest tool I've ever had in the boat. 30-pound braid, look at that, man, like butter. And you can also trim with this too, Pete?
Yeah, you can trim tight to jigs, lures, and just, you know, it'll actually take the knot off. And again, it'll be, you know, your mono, your fluoro, whatever it is. And on up to my 130-pound test musky line, it's gonna slice it like butter.
And we never have to say, hey Ryan, get the knife.
Yeah, get the knife, Ryan.
At Jiffy, we break new ground. In fact, every decision we make revolves around it. The new Jiffy 46 Extreme is 49 cc's of unmatched power with a fixed position propane system and over twice the efficiency for low-end torque. Or go Ninja with the Jiffy 44 Pro, the lightest in its class, the best in power and portability inside and outside. The only ice augers built in the USA. Jiffy, we put the world on ice.
I've really loved running the Recon 2185 this year, so have you, Pete. And these boats are going to be for sale at the end of the season, and they are rigged to the hilt, aren't they?
They are rigged to the hilt, professionally rigged by John at Recon Boats, and you can buy both of these boats at the end of the year, or either of these boats at the end of the year. There's a Recon boat section on PeteMana.com, or go through your local Recon dealer.
They're going to be at a great price too, folks.
Yes. If you fish, chances are you've used a mustad hook. That's all we use.
Come on, get him in there. Army tank there, Dale. Oh, there is a big boy. I mean, I just can't believe this, folks. Oh, let's see him, buddy. Look at that. That 10 seconds, though, makes a big difference, buddy. Well, that one is a gorgeous fish. Is that pushing 3?
It's 3. We're going to weigh it.
Mustad, the world's largest manufacturer of fishing hooks. Get the point? We did. Hey, a lot of fun today, but I want to thank the River's Edge Resort. You know, they got a restaurant there, they got everything else, bait shop, but you like the rooms.
Oh, I love it. The beautiful log cabins are my favorite.
Hey, Dave, one thing I wanted to ask you before I go. You've been an Evinrude guy a long time. What did you think of that E-Tech 300?
Oh, it's amazing. That's the smoothest riding motor I've ever seen. I got an old 40 horse and it's a 86 and it still runs like brand new, and this is the next generation and you don't have to touch that for 10 years, John. It's just wonderful.
What Evinrude do you have?
I've got an old 86 Evinrude 40 horse and it's still pushing my old Ranger around, and turn the key once and it's running, but it's nothing compared to this. This is the smoothest motor I've ever seen, and I've been in a lot of boats.
Yeah, well, I had a great time today. I got some walleyes to take home, and folks, that is our show for today. Please join us next week. I don't know where we're going to fish at. We'll find a place somewhere. Until then, I'm John Gillespie, hoping to see you enjoying John Gillespie's Waters and Woods.
Hey,